All right, and here we go. In three, two, one, and we're rolling.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another elite episode of the Get Authentic with Marques show. I'm your host, Marques Ogden. On today's episode, we are joined by Miss Amanda Taylor. But before we get Amanda to the stage, I want to thank one of our amazing sponsors. Let's thank Chris Miles and Money Ripples. Chris Miles has a phenomenal brand that helps their clients find alternative ways of investing to grow their financial base. We want to thank Chris and his awesome brand for sponsoring this episode. Now, here she is, Amanda. How you doing today, Amanda?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. First question, Amanda. What does the word authentic/authenticity mean to you?
No BS. Something I don't have time for is trying to be somebody I'm not or impress people by, that's too much work. And we spend our whole lives, I think, early on trying to fit in a box or fit the mold of who we are told we are supposed to be or fit in that group that we think we should belong to. And I think I got to a point in my life, let's call it, the upgrade for women, I'll call it, that I decided that wasn't important to me anymore. And I've had better relationships as a result of it. Got a better business because of it. And yeah, I'll say no BS. Let's just be who we are.
No, Amanda, I like what you said about you don't have time to be somebody that you're not. You don't have the desire to try to fake it till you make it. So, for example, Ben and I will laugh about this, later on, but we were having some problems with Zoom. We were having some challenges, and it was frustrating Ben, frustrating me. But again, we've been together so long, we know how to work through these things. But it was very challenging and like trying to figure out how to get this done. We had to reschedule one of our interviews because it was just literally Zoom. Just literally acted up, literally at the worst time possible for me and Ben to do what we love to do, which is record podcasts. But again, authenticity is Ben didn't blame me. I didn't blame him. It was the whole little glitch thing. And we had to just move some things around. And again, right at the time you hit the button to say, here I am for your episode, we just got to figure it out. We're able to take care of what we need to take care of. I was able to record my little 5-minute clip for our new Inner Game Community Scale Room Rebirth launch we're doing in November. And now here we are. But again, ladies and gentlemen, authenticity means you have to stay true to who you are. And when times get hard, when bleep hits the fan, do not waver, do not lose your integrity, and just keep trucking forward. That's what it means to me. So, Amanda, tell us a little more about yourself and then tell us about your current business venture.
Yes, so I am in Fort Collins, Colorado. I spent 15 years in dental practice management. I moved from Texas to Colorado about 10 years ago. Thought I would just be in dentistry. I would just have a job. And then I accidentally fell into real estate investing. I say accident, there are no accidents. And that was the rest is history moment. I started working for a couple of guys, maybe 5 hours a week, who had just started this house flipping business. They thought I was organized, so they wanted me to do paperwork. I'm like, I don't know anything, but okay. And I was like a sponge. This was the coolest thing I had ever done. I couldn't get over, like, you can make money doing this. This is so amazing. And, fast forward 5 years later, I'm like, why am I making money for these guys? I'm going to go start my own company. So I did. And they were great mentors. I still work with them to this day. And so, yes, I am a real estate investor, but that, it's not enough to have one business. I had to start two more. And so, like you, I have a business development company, and yes, I have business coaching, consulting. We do funding for businesses. We do full CRM build outs to help them, scale and grow and do all the things and coaching. And the ultimate goal for me, though, and why I started the third business is about the business owner, not so much the business. So few, less than 13%, have any retirement plan, any exit plan, any legacy plan. And I'm a Gen Xer. We have less than $140,000 in a retirement savings account. We need 1.26 million to retire comfortably, whatever retire means to you. And so my goal with this business development company became, yes, let's get your business scaled, let's get your business profitable, but let's then show you how to invest those profits outside of your business to grow and protect your wealth, to give you the life that you wanted when you started your business in the first place. And so it was really about educating them on their opportunity to grow their wealth, to make their money work twice, to do all of these things. And then when I found out that women were getting less than 2% of venture capital, and it was kind of like, okay, now I got something else I got to do. Women are traditionally underconfident when it comes to investing, and they tend to stay away from money decisions. So I had to start a podcast and a platform to really show women you do have it already inside of you. Women are 25% more likely to say, I don't know, when asked a question about finances. But if you remove I don't know as the option, they get it right 80% of the time. So it's not a competence problem, it's a confidence problem. So I'm starting a movement to build up that confidence and teach the tactical strategies to invest in any market, whether it's real estate, precious metals, venture capital, S&P 500. What do you want to do? But let's do it together. Long-winded answer.
Well, that's a great answer. And so it sounds like you're really helping people understand how to take what they have financial wise and grow it through different, channels or different opportunities or different ventures or different, protocols. And I love this because what I'm hearing is the big factor of the following is that you are really setting yourself up to help as many people as possible. And you said something about it's not, when it comes to like competence, it's more about confidence, right? How do you help your clients, right, Amanda, gain more confidence and gain more courage and belief in themselves that they can do it and they can make things happen in that regard?
Yeah, I say all the time, education and intimidation have an inverse relationship. So even though we're not confident, it's because we don't know what we don't know. So let's come together, let's work together, and let's learn together in the most non-intimidating finance bro, crypto bro way that we can, so that we're supporting each other, not just in tactical strategies. How are we aligned together? How are we whole? How are we making investment decisions based on our values, not just a return that might come later? I feel like wealth building is a full body experience. And until you know your own internal worth, you're not going to feel comfortable and confident building wealth on the outside. And so it's a whole body experience.
Well, it's very interesting, man. You talk about a whole body experience and how people have to learn how to really approach the process of getting in something new by stepping out of their comfort zone and not just staying where, it's comfortable or things are easy or things are very just like, oh, it's just going to always be this way and or that way. And we both know that is not the case. We both know that there are challenges that come along the way. But always tell people when you step out of your comfort zone, that's when greatness happens. When you step out of your, fear of doing something that you may not have a lot of experience in or knowledge in, once you find that place, once you find that, comfortable being uncomfortable place, that's where the magic happens. So my question for you is, right, man, how do you go about trying to help people understand how they can step out of their comfort zone as women, as individuals who might be lacking that confidence? How do you help them step out of their comfort zone into what I like to call, is one of my favorites from Top Gun, into the danger zone where you can actually start to live life and actually, take some chances to actually create the life that you want for yourself?
Yeah, I think it's baby steps. I think it's so hard, for some of us have that gene, have that inner fire that we can just say, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm all in. But not everybody does, and I recognize that. So if we can teach how to take it one step at a time, how to move slowly into something. You don't have to have millions of dollars or be a trust fund baby to start investing. You can start investing with your spare change. And that's what it is meeting that person where they are. What is your money story? How did you grow up? What family story dynamics did you come from when it comes to money? That's what we got to start with. And that is how you make decisions moving forward, is rewriting that story. And then I can work with you on what types of steps you need to take to get out of that comfort zone. Because we've talked ourselves into a cage that we have the key for. And until we can recognize that, rewrite that story, open the door, and then life is completely different.
Well, life is completely different once we figure out the steps that are needed to get out of that place of fear, or that place of, anxiety, or that place of stress, and step into, that place of, belief, conviction, and full confidence that we can do what we need to do. So, man, this is excellent. So, can you tell me a little bit more about? So, talk to me now more from a tactical level. So, strategically, you were a real estate investor. Then you got into other types of investing. You said metals or private equity, or any type of other, precious metals. All these different things you've gotten into, which is fantastic. So let's say I'm a client or a potential client that's come to your door. I've heard about you. I'm interested in you helping me. Let's say I've got $500,000, just throwing a number out there. I've got $500,000 that, is sitting around in banks or other forms of stuff, right? How would you go about tactically helping me and create a plan for me where I can work with you and help me take my 500,000 and kind of get to the place where I want it to be in, like, year 1, year 3, or the case that might be?
Yep. And here's I think, well, the best part of working with me is I am not a licensed financial provider. I don't get paid to sell you any product. What I have done is I have done it myself. I, left my 22-year marriage. He had the retirement plan. I didn't. I knew real estate, but then I was on my own. No one's coming to save me. I went out in search of learning these things they're not teaching us. We have just abysmal financial education in this country. And so when I started to learn these strategies, I am completely agnostic as to what you want to do with your $500,000. What I want to do is sit down with you. What does your life look like in your wildest imagination? What do you want to be doing in 5 years, 10 years? Where do you want to live? What kind of car do you want to drive? Tell me what color it is. What is the view from your backyard or your balcony? How do you feel about what you invest in? Do you want to invest in your community? Do you want to invest in medical technology that's going to save lives? Or do you want to be more passive? Do you just want to set it and forget it? Do you want to work with people who are creating these tools? There's so many ways to invest. You can put your money in a life insurance policy and it'll start working. You can do so much. So I don't care what you do. I care what you want to be and how you want to live. And then I'm going to help you decide which buckets do you want to put that in. Obviously, diversification. And then how do we make the most of it? Because you can put it in one bucket, pull from that bucket to invest in this bucket, and then it's working twice as hard. And that's what it is. It's strategy. But that's it. It's who are you, where are you, and where do you want to be? And then I have the tools and resources or the people who are licensed in that and are vetted that I will put you with. But I'm not paid to sell you a product. I don't get commission for putting you in this fund. I want you to do what aligns with your values and your mission for your future.
You know, I really like this. So in reality, ladies and gentlemen, Amanda is kind of like your broker that is going to listen to you and understand where you are and where you want to be and where you're at now and where do you want to be in the next 3 years, 5 years, whatever. And then also what I'm hearing, she's going to really ask some questions around what type of person you are, what do you like to do, what do you like to get involved with, what's your temperament, how do you like to approach things, because then she will then partner and or pair you with qualified, vetted individuals that will help you. So she's kind of like your head coach, right? And she's going to end up putting you into positions with like the right quarterback coach. So call that like your financial coach, or the right, offensive coordinator. It could be like your real estate individual, or it could be, if you want to be precious metals, it could be, that could be like your special teams coach. I'm just throwing things out there. So what I really like is Amanda is not paid to quote unquote sell you anything. She is paid to listen to you, to actively understand who you are, where you are, and where you want to go. And then from there, she will then create like a summary and then find those qualified people in those different spaces to make sure that things are getting done in the biggest light. Would you agree with that, Amanda? Please tell me your thoughts from there.
I couldn't have said it better. I love your analogy for the head coach. And I got all my people doing the work because I can see it from up here. I can put the game plan together and then I can bring in the people to make it happen. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. So I'm watching the NFL right now, and so I'm looking at the teams that are doing really, really well. The Packers are 2-0. The Chargers are 2-0. There are a couple other teams. The Bills are 2-0. So, like for example, McDermott has done a fantastic job in Buffalo hiring the right coaches. Now, of course, they have a ton of talent, Josh Allen, things like that, but also they drafted Josh Allen. They drafted Ed Auber. They drafted Deion Dawkins. And what I'm getting at is the Bills have had everything kind of come up in the farm. And what I'm hearing Amanda say, it's the same thing. Amanda vets these people, researches people, and then they work together and kind of come up in like the farm system where they're able to then say, hey, I know how you work. I know what you do. Here's a client that I've met with. You're a perfect fit. You're the perfect person. Let's get this thing going. And boom, boom, boom. And ladies and gentlemen, and man, that's my next question. Please tell people how important it is when you're looking at a financial planner or precious metals or real estate or private equity or some sort of investment, right? That's so important that you find someone like yourself to help you vet through and find the right type of person, because you and I both know, unfortunately, there are not everyone has good intentions for people when it comes to this type of world.
Yes. It's an extremely vulnerable position to put yourself in to trust someone with your future, with your funds. And I just did a presentation for investors with a VC fund right before we got on this podcast. And, the most expensive mistake you can make in business or in investing is who you go into it with. And I think, I've done it myself. And so that trust factor, the due diligence on that person, there's only so much we can do, obviously, but finding your trusted advisor, I may not be for you. I'm not for everyone, but no BS. You're getting me in my full authentic self. And I will give you my history. I will tell you what I've done and what I've learned and why I feel the way I do about something. But again, I'm agnostic to what you do. I just want to give you all your options. That I think that's what makes me different. But that's what it is. It's trust. It's knowing someone's track record. It's knowing when someone admits mistakes. And there's not even in investing, I don't even want to call it a mistake. It's failing forward. That's just part of investment is risk. There are different levels of risk in investing, and you get to choose which one of those pools you play in. But that's what it's about, is the open book authenticity you were talking about, the level of trust you have with someone. And for women especially, you get the gut, you get the intuition when you talk to someone. Is this someone I feel like I can work with? And if you give somebody $500,000 the first day you meet them, I would say that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, because here's the thing, right? It takes time to build that trust. It's interesting. We've had some great interviews on today for upcoming episodes later on. And we were chatting with one gentleman about marketing. He has a marketing brand. And I told him, I said, and he agreed with that. There's a statistic that says 44% of sales happen after the fourth marketing touch point. 44% of sales happen after the fourth marketing touch point.
I
What
thought
are
it
your
was more
thoughts on
than
that,
that.
man?
I thought it was more than that, to be
See?
honest. Mhm.
And see again, right, Amanda? This is the whole point. When you're trying to market or grow something and expand, there's a lot of time it takes to build that trust with people. It is absolutely vital. So if you don't have a good system for this, you are going to miss the mark. So Amanda, let me ask you a question. When you think about, because I met you at the Achieve Systems event in the Denver area, it was great to sit beside you, chat. You heard my keynote about how to thrive through the eye of the storm, mindset, courage, all these different things, right? Let me ask you this question. How do you think, or how do you really view when people are trying to push through adversity, hardship in that manner? What are some things that you like to see in people that you work with that can learn how to thrive through the eye of the storm to help your clients or help those individuals coming to you achieve their long-term goals?
The thing that I look for, obviously there's grit, obviously there's determination, all of those things. The number one thing that I love to see is curiosity. Because when someone is curious, that means they are willing to do exactly what you said, to step out of that comfort zone, to try something different, to evaluate something they would not have thought of before. And that is what it takes to be somebody new, to try a different path. So curiosity for me is the number one indicator that someone will push through adversity and create change.
Love it. I love it. So, Amanda, as we get ready to wind down this amazing interview, when you think about all the things that make you who you are, right? You talked about you were in the field, then you went to another company, mentored, learned from them, the whole 9 yards. You kept moving forward. You kept, pushing forward. You've been able to do great in real estate, as a real estate investor. You've gotten into different things yourself. You've been able to create different businesses for yourself. You're very driven. You're very focused. And I tell people, discipline over dedication. If you're not disciplined, right, which means doing what you hate to do to get what you want, you're not going to make it where you want to go. So like for me, I love to lift weights. So I'm very dedicated to the gym, the lifting. I'm very dedicated there, right? Very. What I don't like is the running. Never have. But I'm disciplined to do it because I know it helps me with my health, my weight loss. And again, it sucks when you're just starting out. But again, I knew that when I was starting to get to that point. So again, when you think about this, right? Talk to us about how you have been extremely disciplined along with dedicated, because you do what you like to do, which is always nice, but you also, right, Amanda, do the things that you hate to get the results that you want.
Yep. I'm with you. You put me in front of weights, I will stay there all day. It is my meditation. It is my therapy. It is everything. I am 100% dedicated to being in the gym and at the weights. But you're right. Discipline beats desire every time. And the thing that I have had to force myself to do lately is stillness and true meditation and rest. And I don't mean rest like lay in front of the TV and watch Netflix. I mean create stillness inside here and focus. Even if I do yoga, I am type A for yoga. Like I'm going to kick your ass at yoga. I cannot, I'm type A all the way. So I have to force myself to sit in silence, block out noise, and go inward and really focus on alignment within. And do I love doing it? Nope, don't like it. But the more I do it, and I know it's good for me, because guess what happens? I create stillness, I create silence, which allows me to come back better. I think better. I'm more creative. I'm not bogged down by everything going all the time. So I'm right there with you in the thing I know is good for me, I dread doing, but I do it anyway.
I love it. I love it. Amanda, phenomenal interview. I appreciate everything that you do. I appreciate the way in which you approach business. I love the way you're helping people to find their confidence, their courage, their conviction to move forward in their journeys. I think it's just sensational on every level. So if people want to get in touch with you, how can they go about doing that?
Best way to find me is expandyourempire.org. That is my website. It's got links to all my social media and my community. And that is where I'm bringing the women together for that community, for that building up of confidence, for that education. And that's the best place to get started. Expandyourempire.org.
Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, please go to her website, check her out. We're so excited to have her as a guest on the show. We know that the value that she brought to today's interview will help you find more courage to go where you know you want to go where you know you deserve to go, to move the needle forward. It's so vital. And we want to thank our amazing sponsor and partner for today's episode, Mr. Chris Miles. Phenomenal human being and just a phenomenal job helping people to find ways of alternative investing to grow their wealth. And the authentic tip of this great interview: in life, be an individual who's always about really understanding and connecting with people who have your best interest at heart. You heard Amanda say, you don't want to meet somebody on day one, hand them $500,000. That's not what you should be doing. You should be trying to connect with people, build with people, and create that relationship where everybody wins. Again, my name is Marques Ogden. I am the host of the Get Authentic with Marques show. Thanks for tuning in. Have a fantastic day.